was certainly a tough ask for Vitality to try and challenge Fragsters on Dust 2, but they were able to accomplish it and take control of the opening map of the series, meaning they are now in a great position to close out as we enter our second map and get ready to shift over to Cache, a map that plays out very similarly to Dust 2 with a few small changes. And with that said, again, leaves things very heavily in the favor of Vitality and my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking to Dragonfly just before he went back up on the stage, and he was not really seeming like super happy about just going onto Cache and letting it all down on that one. Didn't have a lot of confidence, but then also he said to me like, okay, yeah, maybe we can just get their number in Cache, and then if we get Cache, we have the mental like fortitude of going into Nuke, because then we have the victory in the backpack and we can play on a map that we're really good on. So then I just told him like, yeah, no one isn't like at this point, no one really expects anything from you guys because it's their map choice. They just took you out on Dust 2, your map choice. Like you're with your back's against the wall, but also that's where a wounded animal is the most dangerous, you know?
It's very true in nature. I don't know how true it poses to be in CS, but we will certainly...
Well, Denmark is like a wasteland of like nature. So
wait, what?
Wasteland of nature.
I feel like those two
Write
things,
that down.
I feel like those two things are intrinsically like the opposite of each other.
Yeah.
I think like wasteland and then nature. Like wasteland would imply a lack of nature. I feel like, but that's just me.
Delete the last 20 seconds. And completely forget about that conversation.
But indeed, it is going to be Cache, and that poses a very tough challenge for the Fragsters now, is from an individual perspective. We were seeing some success, but it was never meshing the whole team together was the problem. And ultimately, in a lot of the clutch situations, it ended up going by the way of Vitality more often than not, with a lot of those legendary old names on the Vitality roster very much waking up and finding some very good impact in that last map, in my opinion.
Knife round is going on. No reason to show you that. Just to decide who starts where.
Some people like the knife round.
I heavily dislike it, actually.
Do you?
Yeah. I would just wish that we could do like a coin flip or something.
I mean, I don't mind like showing it in the background. But
yeah, it's fine. As long as as long as we don't have to commentate.
Unique, you know?
Like back in like 2008 when I started casting, you know, like it was horrible back then. You had to cast knife rounds and act like they matter.
Oh yeah, if you had to cast.
Terrible.
Because I still did it at one point too.
It's
but
like it's fun.
It's unique, is why I like it, because it's like, you know, imagine how boring like it'd be like, all right, let's get the captains to the stage, coin flip, you call it, oh, it's heads, oh, that's it. Instead of being like, oh, you guys get to stab each other and stuff, and it's very CS related because it actually happens in the game. So.
It's like, it's
cool. Because it basically is a coin flip. So.
Yeah. It's basically an artifact from a forgotten era of Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Like, back in the days, it used to like matter so much, almost to like almost on every single map. It doesn't really make that much of a difference if you start TRCT. Most top pro teams at this level can deliver good performances on both sides. And a lot of maps aren't as CTOT based as they were, let's say, 10 years ago.
Especially these first two that we're playing out here.
Yeah.
Both Dust 2 and Cache lend themselves to be relatively even maps. Cache, I think the general opinion right now is it's slightly more to the T side, but not to any significant extent whatsoever. And here we go, folks. With that said, we are going to be jumping into it with Vitality starting off on the CT side and Fragsters jumping on the offense.
Two flashbangs and a smoke on Torben. As they do have to beware of Saiwu down towards sandbags. A lot of noise being made towards mid. But that doesn't matter, the push is going to come towards B. Saiwu now rotating in from that sandbags position onto the vent, and him and MBK are doing good work. Saiwu dropping in once again, and they're shutting it down, but Stan, last man standing, will be taken out by the rotation, and Happy doesn't even have to use both of his flashbangs, they can just keep them.
Yeah, it's a nice little expenditure that he gets to save for the second round. Once again, it's Vitality coming out on top of the pistol fight, which seems to be a common theme so far out of this series, and that's going to push them ahead once again. Now 1-0, and likely to go further than that as the Fragsters will take the usual light investment into the second round, saving up for an early third round bye. Regardless of if they get the plant here or not, it should be expected. So a less likely chance that they would get it, but they're going to try to go for a quick burst out on the 8 bombs. That's what that one flash on down is for. It's a Hail Mary, basically. If it works, it does. If they get lucky and overwhelm players like NBK and maybe needed to knock out Happy here as well, then they're going to be able to get access to the site and find the plant. But if not, it's no big deal because they have pretty much nil investment.
The spray down will be handled by Vitality, only losing one player, and surely... Actually, Saiwu doesn't actually get the FAMAS. He was too far away, so he's still going to keep that MP9 going into the next round, which is going to be the investment. Happy just slightly just saying hello. Excess energy, so you can just nod to the camera. Also, by the way, on behalf of Denmark as a nation, thank you for pronouncing Stavn correctly.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I heard you say it and I just copied you. So.
It's actually really like a lot of Danish names makes no real sense when you compare it to a real language like English. So
you say Danish isn't a real language?
Oh, Danish is such a terrible language. And I'm saying that as a Danish person.
All right, you heard it here first.
And a lot of these names, like, they don't make any sense to pronounce. But you're doing a good job. So
all right. You know what, I guess I hear me correctly. But we do have Torben moving in with 2 pickups here for the Fragsters. They look to get off to a booming start on their first gun round. Molly to control heaven. They don't even have to worry about anything on the backside. This is a great take from the Fragsters. And it's looking like Vitality's opening streak is going to be cut short early here, as unfortunately retaking this site proves itself to be very, very tough, especially with a man disadvantage, which is what Vitality are going to have to deal with. So it's pretty likely that we'll see these guys post up in a moment for either exit frags or just an outright save.
This is the bonus round for Vitality, so it's not really that big of a problem. They can take the M4 and the Farmers and bring that back. Might even play in BK on an aggressive MP9 in the next round anyways and just buy around it. Definitely an opportunity. So Fragsters will go and get their first round on the board, but not too big of a problem for Vitality. This next buy one is going to be way more important. Let's see, actually, everything has a chance of getting something done. And to be honest, I feel like it's fair enough because you want to upgrade that MP9 anyway. So if you can go into like a 40-60 in the favor of your opponent, but you still have a decent chance of taking a duel and trading for an AK, that's actually fair enough. So I like him going for the duel there.
So the buyouts are going to come in. I do think we had someone call for a pause right there, so we're probably going to end up in that for just a second, but we'll be jumping back into the game as quickly as possible. And again, it's this great take from Torben that really sells it, as you saw him pick up a nice double kill at the start over by Checkers. And when they actually got pressured by CTs back in the main doorway too. So he pushed it back, and with those 2 kills, they made a judgment decision that the site was probably going to be open, and they made the push on it. Hi guys, how's it going?
Nice to see people showing up to watch some Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to do, let's be real, at this event. And CS is just one of the things, but obviously the best thing to watch.
Of course, right?
Let's be real.
We can't hand over the medal or anything else. There's a lot of games going on as usual here at the DreamHack Festival. It's going on in the background of the DreamHack Open here. We've got Halo, I think, right next to us. And
yeah.
I think we have a college? Collegiate stage, I think, is to our other side. Right?
We got Smite somewhere in the building as well.
Yeah, there's all of high-res games, I think, have a lot of their like world finals here. Because they're actually, they're based in the city, as far as I know,
nice.
the developers.
Didn't know that.
So they do a lot of their world finals here once a year, and I think they kind of tied in with DreamHack this year, it would seem. So they've got their Paladins and Smite finals going on a little bit more down in the venue.
Very nice. But obviously, no match for the esports giant.
No, it's not Counter-Strike.
Seems like it's a bit more than a tactical timeout, as the time is running a bit longer than we usually expect, so probably something tactical that they need to figure out, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page and everyone is 100% ready to go. Happy just thinking about life and how he can counter all these Fragster strategies that are going to come his way.
And of course, there's the thing that all the players are playing for this weekend, the DreamHack Open Trophy. We've already awarded quite a few of those this year, including one earlier on this year in the States and one in Canada as well, along with plenty that have been given out in Europe, both the DreamHack Summer, Valencia, and Tours. That's the other one for Europe that's happened this year. I was trying to remember if Leipzig happened, but then I think that was like over the week of the major or something like that.
Yeah, that was one of the DreamHack events that didn't happen.
So it's going to be HS that picks up the opening kills. We do get back into it. Fragsters again, bouncing off of their first successful round here too. So this is the first time that Vitality's economy is going to be pressured since they get pushed to the brink after losing their bonus rounds. This is the buy-in that would potentially break them if they don't come out on top of it. No trade to be found yet against any of the Fragsters, so they now push in aggressively to the same bomb site. Happy swinging around, though, manages to catch Dragonfly, who was meant to stop him specifically. So a big fail on Dragonfly's part, unfortunately. Torben, though, trades it right back, and Happy's also knocked out on the flank. It all falls apart very quickly for Vitality on their defensive setup, leaving Apex alone in a 1v4 now.
And this execute we just saw is a very, very standard one. It's, I'm seeing it thrown out, and we do it as well in our team. Sometimes it's definitely a part of the playbook. But like it's so powerful, and it's yet so simple. So what you basically do is that you throw the smoke to the left of the red box, and then you Molotov towards forklift, and then you just flash time in 2 players or 1 player to the door and the rest to A main. And because of that smoke and the Molotov, that forces everyone to the left of the incoming T side, forcing them away from the bomb site. That means that you have an open alleyway that you can flash time to the right, and then you can take side control very, very slowly. And if you have a good like couple of entry players that can take 50-50 duels straight on, then you have side control after 1 kill instantly. Nice little thing if you want to go download a demo and find out how to do it. Just do that route.
Apex holds the line at least to pick up 1 more kill at the end of the day and will survive the encounter. The problem is the rest of his teammates are going to be completely broke, so it's very unlikely we see a full-on force and buy, especially with as many Ts surviving as they ended up with at the end of that round there. Really good stuff coming out from Fragsters. Again, they keep it consistent. Pick up a second round in a row to tie this up quickly at 2-2. Likely to go 3-2 now, with Vitality pretty much on a full eco, minus Apex save, of course.
Let's see here if they can get something done. Not going to be very likely. It's probably just going to be the Fragsters players just rushing in. They don't want to die to this MAC-10, and RPK's lucky that Refresh comes in with the AK-47. That's basically the one thing that they want to avoid here, dying to the MAC-10. Cyber, though, doesn't really play by any rules, and will pick up the headshot on, ironically enough, HS.
Dying to a MAC-10, how about dying to a P2K? How's that?
You don't want that either,
yeah.
Obviously.
But we are going to end up seeing NBK sneak up, take away the AK now. Get up in his hands, but we are not going to see much of an attempt of a retake made here by Vitality. They are going for a crunch, though, on a majority of their players, since they're going to try to pick up some guns off of this, or more importantly, drop the guns from the Fragsters. You can already see Zywoo kind of poking up towards Heaven to try and catch guys on the way out. Ston's going to flank around, though, back over towards the mid-garage, and actually drops NBK, denies the save of the AK, but he gets denied right back by Zywoo, still rocking on the USP there. Manages to take out Stout and will re-recover the AK, along with Happy getting another kill. He's going to swing out wide to actually find the dropped AK there, though, so that will go into Dragonfly's crosser. He'll take him out, and that'll be the end of the action for that round.
Dragonfly, the middle brother of the pack. Interesting story, actually. These guys have been with Fragsters for a while. They actually started back in 2016 under a mixed team name called Walkover. And then they performed really well at a BYOC tournament called Powerland back in 2016 in Denmark that had Heroic and the team that eventually was from North, and also Australis in attendance. They didn't play in the pro tournament, but they played in the open circuit, and they actually ended up like doing really, really well, beating teams such as Trick, for example. Back then, that was a really big movement for them, and then eventually, a couple of months after that, they got signed by Fragsters, and Fragsters have been working with them since like 2017. And now, of course, when we move into the first of next year, they're going to be all free agents, but still sticking together as a team.
Down that starts things off with the Fragsters as they pick up the opening kill of this round once again. Besides that, no real progress being made by either team at this point. Fragsters still stuck behind the mid-garage despite the kill they just picked up. Not wanting to press the envelope here too much yet. They still have Happy in position behind the white box. It's going to run interference for these guys. Besides that, only a one-man setup to defend the A site. And in a second, Happy is going to have to rotate up, add himself to that equation, and try to set up for a successful defense here. NBK is actually going to get aggressive, moves in, but that flashbang didn't really look like it connected onto anyone. So HS immediately shuts him down. Happy's waiting for these players to push him over here towards the forklift side of the site, but he'll miss it. Dragonfly will swing out, takes him down instead. And that is a safe bell tolling for these last two players on Vitality. RPK is able to make it out alive as he just barely knocks out HS on his way back to CT spawn. And for Apex, we'll be looking more so for exit kills as he's got that flank position established just on the outside of A main and the back hall that leads towards Squeaky.
Torben here on the hunt. Doesn't see RPK, and RPK will get the better of him. One thing that I've noticed as well for Fragsters so far in this game is that they're playing with even more like ferocity, playing even more aggressive than they did on Dust 2, which could be down to the fact that like there is like virtually like no pressure on them at this point because no one expects them to do anything on this map because they have such a bad track record. We've seen, okay, Vitality are in good gear. They're basically playing the CS we know they can play. And that is like a really interesting like discussion about the mentality of Counter-Strike, about the whole thing. Okay, there's a lot of pressure on our backs to perform really well. And at this point, okay, probably out of the tournament anyways. We're playing with a stand-in. Let's just go play some confidence CS. And it's working out for them. And let's not forget, the third map in this series is Nuke, a map that Fragsters have a proven track record on. So if they grab cash, I would say they have a good chance. And so far, 42, a great start, but anything can still turn around. Vitality are a really, really good team, so they can definitely always turn it around.
So we do have the Fragsters once again stacking up early on, although it is going to split relatively quickly. Originally the group together to move towards the B halls, and they're still going to do that. It's just a two-man team that's doing it instead. So Ston again leading the charge for the Fragsters as he finds the opening kill against Apex, who's caught lurking just on the outskirts of Checkers there.
Not a lot of money on the T side either. RPK 1650 and Happy 850, the two richest players after forcing up in this one. So probably going to be a low investment, potentially even an eco round coming out of Vitality if Fragsters take this one home. Already in a 5v4, several pieces of utility remaining. Only one counter smoke on the CT side. And if you're just going to go for the complete wraparound here from short control, could be dangerous. Oh, nice play by NBK though.
HS returns the favor, however, on towards NBK, but it's ZywOo looking to hold the tide off, but no, gets played by Refresh. Movement from him to swing out wide once again, give him a reinitiation to take out ZywOo and leave RPK alone in a 1v3 situation now. Stalin probably the first to spot him, back by the truck angle, is going to be able to get the lock on his position, kill most of his chances to go for this clutch. RPK knows it. He's already backed up in his CT spawn, and is going to look to run out the timer now. As Fragsters claim yet another round, they'll be 5-2 in about 30 seconds or so here.
Another question is, what will RPK do here? Like, obviously he's going to go with safe for the weapon, but in the next coming round, what's the play? Are they going to go for something crazy, NVS 2014-esque, where they just force buy around this M4? I wouldn't advise on it, but I wouldn't say it's impossible either. Let's see first if he survives. All right.
No,
we'll be allowed. No real reason for the Fragsters players to kind of risk any of their weaponry. They're still, like, their economy is not set so great. It's okay.
He let him from Moss as well, right? Yeah, so it's not like he's let him get away with an op or anything like that. It's not a major takeaway. Oh, he had it up before, but yeah, I mean, same thing for the most part. And besides that, again, as you can see, we're not really going to see much coming out from the Vitality side, as you were mentioning, besides a couple upgraded pistols. So it's one rifle they have to deal with. And granted, while that proved dangerous a few maps ago in our last series, it's a very unlikely thing to happen. However, Vitality... I think I jinxed it.
Commentator.
Sorry about that.
It's just every single time.
As 2 Deagle kills.
Yeah. I said the same thing about Cutler when we saw that like second map in the other series where, okay, they only have Deagles, shouldn't be a problem. Then he gets 2 kills out of nothing. Same thing here. The same thing here, Blue, you know. Caster's Curse, it's very real. I
was at least going to have that out and say, like, well, the rifle didn't get that many kills, so at least I was wrong about that. But nope, double kill from the rifle in the B halls. Yep. And now it's just Stalin left alone in a 1v5. He does have quite a few players low, along with the AK to accompany him. But, yeah, there's that AK showing up now in the hands of Apex, as we do see the guys from Vitality getting away with it and picking up quite a few free guns in the process. I think at least one of them getting an op. So that was a buy one, get one free deal, it seemed.
That second Deagle shot there is insane. And it's kind of unlucky because they have that refrag scenario, but usually you want the AWP to take the first peek and then the AK to come in and take the secondary duel. But because Dragonfly actually missed his shot, then he's scoping out to try and reposition, and that's when the CT pushes in and catches him off guard. Very unfortunate. But in the Vitality camp, they're happy with it. Money's still going to be okay to get one more buy going in for Fragsters, but after this, they have to make a decision if they want to force or go for an eco if they lose this one. So not the greatest economy of all time here.
The NBK making first contact onto the way in, managed to chain together 2 players before ending up going down. The trades are made evenly, but RPK battles it back for the French squad as they find 2 more themselves. Dragonfly missing his shot, and Happy closing out on the last kill against him to give it to Vitality and put them only 1 away from tying us again at 5-5.
This is where it becomes important that you don't lose your cool if you're Fragsters, because you had a great start, falling a bit off in the last couple of rounds. Like, once again, like the mentality of, oh, it's becoming real now, we can actually do this. And then you kind of like start like putting too much pressure on yourself. And right now they're going to take an eco and then the full buy next round.
Look at how much money Vitality already has too, considering they've only won 2 rounds straight.
Yeah, it's because like RPK hasn't died for so many rounds, so he's been able to bring that M4, change it into an AK, survive 1 round with it as well. Just in general, he didn't need to drop either, so he just has a lot of money on the bank account.
Even Apex sitting at 8K right now too, and then Happy just under 5K. Ooh, but it's these Eagles again finding the early round impact as Fragsters put 2 onto the board and now take the man advantage. Bit of a delicate one, of course, considering that they are in the eco, but with the Deagle striking true, and there's another one. They may have reignited their chances just yet, as now the A site's been opened up, mainly by Ston here. Spots the push coming in from Highway. Great damage done to Happy, and not a whole lot sent the other way in return.
Deagles, man. Never know what's going to happen.
Jeff's going to try to cut Happy off back in mid too, but he'll miss that opportunity. And now RPK, he's going to need some help here soon, though. They are trying to 80-80 out to be able to take him down, but so far no success from that. RPK gets a fadeaway on to Ston to take him out. And now it's just on Refresh in the 1v2. He's going to be able to transition to the site at least with Bomb. It'll be pushed out by Happy. Vitality, nice job. They recover there and take control of the round, but granted, it's their own fault. They let that get to the point it did in the first place, so.
Just getting 3 frags there in general to deny some economy on the CT side is really good by Fragsters. But at this point, they need to get some more rounds on the board. Yes, 5 is decent for their T side, but they can still win if they don't win anymore and then just have a great CT side. But usually you want to get around 8 if you want to look really good in 9 rounds on the T side.
Yep.
So there's definitely some potential still. Dragonfly with an op, once again on the T side. Something that's, I would say, kind of difficult to utilize, especially like T-side cache, if you don't have a default that's working around mid-control. Because then you're going to be peeking into angles that Sai will constantly be holding, like, for example, peeking into the back box of the A side, peeking into headshot on B, or CT, or like heaven on B. Sai was going to win most of those duels because he's already at the angle. So unless you play around mid-control, a T-side op can be very hard to utilize. Especially also, Dragonfly is not like one of those flashy, like no-scope, quick flick operas. He's more like a turret kind of guy.
We do see Fragsters going for a slow crawl out into mid that will more than likely lead itself into being a B hit, but the option is open to go up a Highway to make this an A play as well. With the 2 players stacked in B halls, they would need a few seconds to reposition that, and time is already low as is, so they don't have a whole lot to shift around here on Fragster's side. There's the smoke on the top Highway. Give these guys a little bit more room to play with, and HS nicely done. Gets the spot on the RPK. Problem is, Happy trades that right back from the inside of Z to take out HS and destroy pretty much all of the mid presence that Fragsters had, minus the vent player, Torben, who's just sneaking in now. There's the noise being made, so NBK is going to realize something's up, but Fragsters are leaving themselves no time at all to clear out this site. 20 seconds remaining. There's the push out. A team kill happens as well as Torben accidentally knocks out Refresh. Still one more CT on this site. They can't get rid of him, and it's Happy from Heaven, and we'll pick up the last kill.
You just have to give it to NBK there. He read them like a book, completely. He had one player on the back of the bomb side, and then he was in the anti-flash position, ready with his right underhand flash. So basically, when he hears them step, he knows they're in like B main without them making any noise. He's seen his strat before. Then he underthrows the flash, peeks out together with his teammate, and calls for the rotation as well. Even if both of those 2 B players still trade for 2 for 2, which is the worst case scenario, they have a rotator coming in. NBK had that whole round read like a book. And that's just, like, once again, the quality of such an experienced player, going from being peripheral player, support player, star player as well in some sense back in the day, into being an in-game leader. He's seen everything. He knows what you're going to throw at him. And he knows what the counter is.
And that is the ultimate advantage that Vitality have in this series, where Fragsters is just maybe not experienced as a team, but the individual experience across the entire pool of players, obviously minus ZywOo, definitely outclasses to a certain degree that of Fragsters. It's going to be Stalin trying to make the first play of the game. Just goes for a direct peek inside of T main on B bomb site. It's not too successful, but he saves his own life. NBK, on the other hand, cuts Dragonfly's life short as there's a rush out onto that A site. Happy gets tagged down through the smoke by quite a bit, but keeps himself alive. And now the plant goes in as Fragsters, shockingly, take control of that A site. And they're going to look to hold on to it in the post plant. Torben in a great position just behind the forklift. Really picking up a kill for himself, but nothing is found. And now time's run out for Fragsters. Now they got to play defense. Allen at least getting 1 for himself there too, but again, the trades are playing out far too heavily in Vitality's favor. Refresh tries to hold off against the onslaught, working his way towards the quad box, but it can't be done. RPK takes him out, and that'll be now a 7-5 lead for Vitality.
Once again, like, look how strong that smoke to the left of red box is. In this situation, Vitality know they're up against pistols, so they want to play far away from the bomb side so they don't go into close quarter combat with a Tech 9 and a Desert Eagle. So that smoke dropping down, they clear forklift because no one's going to be forklift against pistols. And then the smoke to the left of red just ensures them basically bomb side control and getting a free plant in a low investment round. on the back of one smoke, basically, they push out the CT side. Such a like small thing that gets so much map control and general round control out of it.
So Fragsters will be actually throwing a lot of pressure. The B-bomb side early on with mollies. And CTs will respond to that in kind on their own. They're going to try to push out towards Checkers now. Apex will hold that position, potentially try to challenge the Sunroom player in a moment as Stown is here. We've often seen him striking first, but now it's going to be Apex that wins the battle again this time. Knocking out Ston and only leaving Apex with about 50 HP. Let's play for mid here too. They're going to try to go for it in a second, but before this is also being stopped by Vitality as ZywOo puts together 2 kills in very quick fashion.
And that's the problem right now, because ZywOo, when he's on his point, like, he can take those individual 1v1s and win all of them. There's just no doubt that he's going to take that duel and win it. And then you have to have the refrag come in. That was kind of silly onto Dragonfly. But the refrag was maybe like a second and a half too late from the guy up on boost. And then ZywOo was just saying, okay, yeah, you're going to give me 2 1v1s. He's waiting. And then the second one comes straight after. So he has time to kind of reset his aim. He's even anti-flashing, like looking back into the wall to make sure that if they flash out for the second refrag, then he's also going to be in good shape to handle that. And ZywOo just doesn't care at this point. Like, his individual level is too high.
It's going to be a nice flash, at least blinding Apex, causing him to miss his opening shot. More support is available, though, from RPK back by the tree room. He's going to be able to hit Torben. Now refresh. Might have to push it in a moment here, but maybe not at the same time. Happy will jump in for 2 quick kills before getting eliminated himself. RPK was also lost seconds ago. Vitality down to 3 now, but going up against only Ston from the T side. It won't be long before he's also knocked out, and Vitality claim a 9th round.
And you can see the strat book of Fragsters. They're running low on strats. Like, this is basic, like, B default push on a timing. It's not because it's a great execute lined up behind it or some great fakes on the opposite side of the map. That's just a straight-on B push. And that just shows you that, okay, yes, they can play cash to some extent, but their playbook is not that deep. Yeah. And in the last couple of rounds of this first half, they're running out of strats on this T side, or at least strats that they know can work. X is just going to go straight diving into mid.
ZywOo's going to catch HS as soon as he moves out of the cubby below boost up there. There's more players that have presence established here, and they were able to trade with it, but the problem is ZywOo's been awoken now, pushes aggressively forward to stop Ston from getting anything else done, and meanwhile on the A site, NBK picked up a double kill. It's down to only Torben here now, and he won't last very long either. ZywOo claims his 3rd, and that settles the first half. A 10-5 scoreline for Vitality.
Looking very, very strong. Unless Fragsters can show something extraordinarily on the pistol round, and then in the defense, mainly looking at Dragonfly's op, that can really be a game changer. If that doesn't happen, I think it's done and dusted for them, because Vitality are just looking like Vitality should look at this point. Yes, they're not perfect. That's because they haven't been together for more than like, what, a month and a half at this point?
Yeah.
That's fair enough. But they're looking like it's like a good team should look 1 month into the process.
And unfortunately, despite the relatively close scoreline that we actually have here right now between Vitality and Fragsters, it wasn't a very close half. And Fragsters are probably a bit drained out right now. You were mentioning about how they were running out of strats, and that was an 8-round streak at the end that we had from Vitality right there. So just imagine the mental drain that's going to put on you as well. Granted, these are pro players; they're trained for it, but even to a certain extent, it bothers you when you're just trying everything you could possibly think of from that T side, and almost nothing is working for half the entire half.
It's tough also with like Lifedance, the coach, of course a great coach in the sense that he's keeping the players happy and keeping them hyped up, but the strategical insight he can bring is not at the same depth as, let's say, like some of the other coaches in the Danish scene, let's say Sonic, for example, because he simply doesn't have that experience. So he can't really come in with a lot of stuff like that to help the team, so they have to figure it out themselves. ZywOo figuring stuff out, but just straight on rushing. Refresh holding the angle for now.
Just trying to quickly wrap around here and flank out Vitality before they get too much control of the site. It's good position, but it's Dragonfly that finds kill. HS will drop the bomb on the inside instead. And Torben finds another kill as well here. So a nice quick shutdown on the A site. Don't have to wait for the bomb to get planted for that retake. Happy's left alone here. This should be a good start for the Fragsters. There it is. Refresh gets the last kill. 4 still standing tall for the Fragsters as they push ahead early. Now it's 6-10.
That's what they need right now. And also just to get that momentum going, you also see like the coach doing what he can in that situation, just getting them hyped. Okay, let's keep going, guys. Let's keep this going. Good vibes all around. Everyone just confidence, believe in the fact that you can win this next duel. And to some it might sound like, okay, that's basically nothing. He's just saying good job to them. But CS players and just having confidence in general playing Counter-Strike is such an important part of winning these tools, like going up in a straight head-to-head combat 1v1, having the confidence and thinking before the actual duel takes place that, okay, I'm just going to win this. There's no question about it. That's like 20% of just winning the duel because all of these players have great aim.
After, like I said before, 8 rounds lost in a row, to get back into it quickly with a swift pistol victory like that. Not even really a lot of contention coming in for Vitality. That's going to help to reinvigorate that very quickly. As we're now seeing Fragsters just try to pick apart this push through mid from Vitality, and they get that done without too much trouble themselves. All 5 staying alive there to keep their economy in good shape, as now we should see the buy coming in from Vitality.
What's the choice here? Plenty of cash. They can get utility for an execute. Not really going for a Molotov this time around. Could have been a possibility to go for the Molotov A execute. But not going to make that happen this time. A couple of smokes and flashes, so probably going to be mid-control to begin with. And then either the B split or the A split, depending on what kind of mid-run call comes in. And where they get maybe a peek early on.
You see a little bit of damage from here as they move in to take a main control. It's Happy spamming through, I believe, that manages to dink stun. It only takes off 25 HP, though, so he'll still remain in good fighting shape. That is also going to be a main control seated away from Vitality for a decent chunk of this round, and that's going to hurt if Vitality do want to try to wind up for an execute later on in the round, which does look likely right now, but for the time being, they're still playing into a default, so to be honest, all options are open to Vitality.
Just taking mid-control, placing one guy in towards the door on the A-bomb side. Looks a lot like the A-split. And with 2 smokes, one for the left of red and one for maybe quad box. But no way, okay, Stone just doesn't care. Just pushes into main and has backup as well, but RPK with a double entry into the bomb side. Freefreak has to clear this one out, but he can't. Now it's all on Dragonfly, 1v3.
It's RPK coming in to help out, I think, a little bit with that kill that Happy just got to answer fresh too. Bails his teammate out a little bit, although he doesn't get credit for the assist. Dragonfly is now left alone, 1v3 here. Smoked out as well. He can play to the truck angle, hope he gets lucky with the A main re-peek, but not likely to see that happening anytime soon.
He was basically hanging around to see, okay, can I get a free opening, make it a 1v2? If I can make it a 1v2, there's a chance that I can go for it, but he doesn't get anything out of it. Vitality know to just stay back and hold the bomb side. It's going to be 11 rounds, and very nicely done for Vitality. In this situation, you want to come in with that first buy and just establish some dominance, and that's exactly what they're doing now. Yes, you did win the pistol round and the consecutive one, but the second we come in with our buy rounds, you're toast.
Is going to be able to make it out there. Not a lot of whole lot of action happening with the last man alive. For Fragsters declared himself out of the round and went for the save. So it's Vitality pushing through here once again. So they're going to be able to put their first round on the board for this T side and start pushing forward to re-maintain their lead again here, because they're going to look to reestablish as quickly as possible. But at the same time, they also don't look to break Fragsters. There's still the one more full reinvestment that we get from their side. It's after this, though, that Vitality will really be able to run away with the lead, as it'll more than likely put the Fragsters onto an eco round.
That's a nice duel there from Apex, making sure that Stan's going to lurk around the smoke. Catches him off guard. And once again, a very important round here. If Vitality take this, it's going to be Fragsters on a low investment round, potentially even an eco. A nice turn back around there. Aggressive play from the CT side. Knew that RPK and NBK had control towards middle. They pushed behind it and tried to lock down. Refresh close range. Free frag onto Apex. Will grab a second one, surely. The bomb does go down and Refresh will grab his number 2. Happy has to clutch it, and he can't.
Fragsters find their way right back into it as well. Dangerous squad still putting up quite a bit of a fight here. That's going to cause a little bit of chaos now, because Vitality, you can see their money's really uneven. Most players, though, not really in a position to buy, so I would think they light buy here, but let's see what their final decision is. They're actually paused to figure it out, I think.
Yeah, and also in this situation, like Fragsters would be in the same situation if they lost that round. Yep. They would be in the exact same money situation. And I think it's fair enough to just take a pause to make sure that you take the right decision. With 1400 on RPK and 1900 on one of his teammates, I would probably also say just go for the force buy here. And then if it doesn't work, we still have the lead. Maybe it's going to be a tight game, but you believe in your T side always when you're Vitality. You believe in chance that Saiwu could just go in and get entries everywhere.
Also, only the first pause so far for Vitality here, so plenty more pauses to utilize. We're in the second half of this map already, too, so there's no reason for Vitality not to use pauses and try to figure things out if they are going a little bit bumpy here.
One thing to notice as well is that Vitality used to have a coach. 4 days before this tournament, the coach announced that he was leaving the project. In this situation, this is where, like, he could, of course, talking about the money and what they're going to do in this round, can't really do much about that. Can't really help, but all these small tendencies, all these small tweaks, that's where the coach could help. But he's not a part of the project anymore, so it's all down to the players to kind of decide this. They have no voice behind them that can help them out with the big picture of the game.
Fragsters are going to be taking a pretty standard approach to the opener of this round, where Vitality is going to try to move into fast control of mid. It's Apex, the nice deagle shot that is able to headshot HS. And now, I believe the A side a little bit less defended, but there's pretty much immediate rotates that come in from Fragsters, so they've already made up for that. Refresh, the nice turn, but no, doesn't pay attention to the rest of A main as they walk directly out against him, taking him down. It's a bit of an overextension as Stawn is also here, and he's able to trade that right back. Problem with Fragsters, though, is they're not at a man disadvantage, but that's just been corrected as long as Stawn can keep it that way, but no, runs around the corner the wrong way. Dragonfly again keeps his team in. This is Fragsters are just barely finding enough trades to keep the man advantage at an even pacing. Now the good news is they pushed Vitality into such a small corner, they currently don't even feel confident enough to go for a plant. There's the boost up to try and find a shot with the deagle, but it misses, and now they just reveal the last two positions of these guys. They're going to push out. The up shot unfortunately won't connect for a kill. Oh. Apex survives at 12 HP. 25 seconds left to play this too, which is a lot of time for Vitality given where we're already at here. But now they boost up onto the red box. That's Tappy going down though, and Torben finds the second kill directly after that as well to close out for Fragsters. There
was a small timing window where the Ops still thought that there was 2 players on the back box, but that's the only way that they could have won this round. But luckily for the CT side, Torben was having the right angle covered. Couldn't push that way. Very nicely done to control the round in the end, but you have to say that there are several question marks to be raised about Fragsters letting it come down to a 2v2 in the end when it was such a low investment round for the C side.
Away with it indeed. Fragsters is going to choose to utilize their first pause as well, directly after they saw Vitality do this just in the last round. Trying to figure out some things for their side of the equation as well here. See how exactly they can keep this more consistent. Probably, as you were mentioning, to try and talk about how that round got to that point to begin with and correct those mistakes as quickly as possible here.
And sometimes these timeouts is not really about like finding a new way to approach the game. It's about, okay, let's look at that last round. What can we tweak to make that 5–10% better? Because it was like a decent setup. Yes, it got a little bit out of hand, but they managed to shut it down in the end. What kind of tweaks can we apply to make sure it doesn't get out of hand? Maybe it's just someone being in a different position, someone in an anti-flash, refresh holding one specific angle instead of 2 angles, and then you fix the round basically. And it's all those small like 5% fixes that you make in these timeouts.
This upcoming round is also a pretty pivotal one in terms of the overall outcome of the match when you look at the fact that the team's economies right now are pretty stretched on both sides here. So with Fragsters winning this gun round, they can break Vitality for another round and possibly tie the game up. On the side of the coin, Vitality can do the same thing to Fragsters and push ahead again by another 2, potentially 3 rounds and get up to a pretty dangerous point in the overall scoreline. They're pushing mid, starts off successfully, but I don't call it that just yet. As Torben has the flank angle, he's going to be able to immediately trade it back. Apex, though, looking to still keep his team in an advantageous position, finds the kill onto Refresh. It's going to be Stawn moving up the highway that looks for the trade and finds it as well. Barely any damage taken by him, but another trade back comes in from Apex this time. Stawn, though, still pushing forward, finds yet another pickup and puts Zaiwu into a 1v2. I think his first 1vx of this event, possibly. Moves in, just a single tap on the Stawn to end his streak, and now it's him versus Torben. Finds him as well, and it's such a casual kill, a casual clutch from our new players stepping up to the plate for this event.
Ice cold kill aside, where they're not a second in doubt of exactly what he needs to do in this round. Spots the first one out, simple 1 bullet. Knows the other one was spotted towards short, has to take aim in. Okay, he's not wrapping around. Straight to the face. Very nicely done, and that's something that you really can't like counter in this sense. Like Saiwu just hitting 2 insane shots like that. Yes, the first player was looking at the wrong angle, that's fair enough, but he had to cover that. And the secondary shot, you can't do anything against that. That's just Saiwu being Saiwu.
And he does finally show up in the clutch there.
It's nice to see. Like stats-wise, he was there on map 1. Here in map 2, he hasn't really shown. Like he's been showing okay, but now coming in with a clutch round as well. Yeah. Really, really high impact. Just constantly saying, okay, yes, I've been showing a high level online, but I can do it on land as well. Don't you worry.
And most importantly, as I discussed right when we were getting to the action here, really puts a stop to Fragsters' momentum. They force buy into this round, really because they know they're up against the wall at this point with the economy side of things, so they are going to try their best to force into this round and come out with a win because they know Vitality's economy, due to only winning it with one player alive, is still going to be in a pretty bad spot themselves. They're hoping, praying really, that they might just be able to break Vitality too and keep this game on a more even foothold before Vitality gets up to 14 rounds or so.
There's the Eagle on refresh, and then small investments on everyone else. Both sides relatively low on utility. There's still 2 smokes and 2 mollies plus flashes remaining on the T side. Definitely enough for an execute. ZywOo's T side op is also something you have to fear and constantly keep in mind as a CT team. He's also very likely to push angles that you don't really count on an op pushing. You have to be aware of everything around you at all times.
It's all gone quiet now. Timer just creeping below a minute marker here. Vitality sits somewhat at the ready to start their execute towards the B-bomb site. They don't have everyone together for it, though. So they're going to need a few more seconds, which means they might be executing in a pretty low-time situation. Not only this, but Fragsters isn't a read on this. They're starting to rotate a lot of players over. Torben and Spawn get the better of the 2T fight so far, and Torben will be able to chain his together into another frag against RPK. He caught these guys just as they were executing, so it's worked out perfectly for the Fragsters here, and this is going to prove to be a massive upset for them. We do see Vitality trying to crawl it back with 2 kills of their own, but it's not enough. Fragsters steal the round and keep themselves in the action because of it.
Yeah, just like that one round on the first half where NBK just read Fragsters like an open book, this exact same thing happens in this one, where Torben completely understands what's going on. Yes, he gets the frag onto NBK, but I think what really gave it away was the flash that was thrown from just outside of the vent position, which is the one that lands onto A, but is so commonly used as a, not a flash, but a fake smoke. When you see that smoke land, you constantly get, okay, this is probably a fake, because you don't really use that smoke a lot unless you are faking, because you can so quickly, from throwing that smoke, rotate into vent and just push for that B split. So Torben totally had the read on that, and that's why they didn't rotate away from the B-bomb side. They had 2 players on the side, one on site and one in vents, and then one who could rotate in really, really quickly. The same scenario as we saw in that pivotal round in the first half, where NBK did the same read, just with a different smoke to begin with. Okay, what?
Of course, leaving us speechless once again there as he opens it up with a big bang, but Refresh is looking to silence it real quick as he finds 2 kills of his own, but he's also going to be put down. ZywOo, now armed with an AK, will find his 3rd pickup against Dragonfly, and might as well have just won the round with those plays, as they've got it down to only 1 player left standing here for the Fragsters. Plan actually yet to go down on either site. It's left us in a very odd situation in terms of player positioning, but HS, as you can see, has got quite the lock on RPK right now. He's going to move into execute in a second. Man, he's dragging this out as long as possible.
Yeah, there's no reason to take the kill. He's just eliminating areas where he doesn't have to check anymore.
Second he takes the shot, every single other player on Vitality is going to know exactly where he is, so he needs to draw this out as long as possible. He's going to lose the set. No! Didn't hear it! He's going to keep walking up on him. There we go, finally spotted. So he'll take the shot after a good minute or so following his opponent there.
And they have to run straight B if they want. I don't even think they have time to run B at this point.
No, they're going to still commit to A. They don't have enough time to get over to the other side of the map. But the thing is, HS thought they did, so he went back to the other side, which reopened A for an easy plant. And now they can just lock it down for the 2v1. Good news for HS. He has plenty of utility. Smoke, molly, and 2 flashbangs to get back into this site with. This is still very winnable. He's got to be ready for a fight right now. Actually catches ZywOo unaware. Gets timing. And now he's brought it down to a 1v1.
Has a smoke for the bomb, has the flashbang. Question is, will he guess the position? He's mauling the back box, checking that one out. That's clear. Has to be A main or door.
Smoke immediately going off to cover the door approach, and he's actually, no, I thought he was going to be ready to take the fight. Taps onto the bomb, and Happy walks up right behind him. And it is still indeed the closeout from Vitality, assisted mainly by those 2 banger kills we had from ZywOo. The start of the round in mid, but he, of course, contributing in his own way with the 2 kills that he found throughout the course of the round.
I was pretty satisfied with Waffle House for breakfast this morning, but now I want whatever ZywOo had for breakfast, because that's definitely something else. 3 straight headshot kills, and 2 of them with the deagle. He's just on another level, like this kid. 13 to 10.
We'll end up in the same exact situation we were in the last round here too, where Vitality has the economical advantage over Fragsters. Fragsters are pretty much out of cash here, and they're left with no choice but to force into it with what they have to stop Vitality from running away with this now.
Dragonfly in mid with the AWP. Bomb is still dropped by the T side, so haven't really made a decision about where they want to go. As for now, not a lot of utilities spent either. Only on NBK, basically. Everyone has Molotovs and smokes left.
Good chunks of damage being done there by Fragsters at the minimum. Scout shot from Dragonfly knocking NBK down to 30, and Apex, as you saw, getting flashed and then pushed by the A-site players to take him down 50 HP too. But without any real way to force these guys into the open. They're still ending up losing any of the outright open gunfights that lead to a kill here. Happy, of course, most recently finding that pickup. And the rest of the team throwing a little bit of a ruse here, I think, towards the B-bomb site. Their intended target still definitely going to be A, especially with the amount of control Happy has here.
Yeah, that's basically, like, they were going to go for the B play, but then Happy just says, okay, I'm through A side, it's all clear. There's no reason not to go for it then.
Not going to go be any more guys. We've gotten this. Happy will also take a very pivotal position to close out on the rest of the round. He's already put one kill together. He's gotten close to the second one by knocking HS down to 53 HP, but they'll tag team NBK in since we do see Happy getting brought down to only 7 HP. Granted, NBK is not much better off at 20. And Refresh will bring Apex down low as well, but he'll get the better of him. And with that, Vitality is only 2 rounds away now from closing out against the Fragsters, knocking them out of the event and pushing them forward into one final best of 3 to fight for survival here today.
Vitality looking to make better of what happened yesterday, where they definitely didn't look like the team that they wanted to portray. Today, they looked a lot better. I would say, even though the Fragsters have lost the first map and also well, they have a big mission ahead of them if they want to take this one to map 3.
Oh, door stuck.
They still have made a pretty good showing compared to the fact that they're playing with a stand-in who doesn't suit them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still a very close, very competitive match. But at the end of the day here, still Vitality dominating 9 times out of 10, and that round proves itself to be a good example of that.
Full eco doesn't give anything to the Fragsters, and now Vitality on map and match point. As the potential comes back in. Fragsters will have money to buy here, but they have to grind 5 rounds in a row in order to bring this to OT. HS is going to go for the magic AUG. And the T side setup. Full utility. Plenty of money to spare. Even if they lose this, they have a full buy next round and the round after that. Refresh, nice aggressive positioning. That's something that NBK and the boys have been getting for free, is the position at door, but he wants it differently. Sadly, he's traded off again. But then, 43, this is definitely still doable. What you have to keep in mind, though, is that Apex, RPK, and Happy, all 3 of these can individually step up. All 3 of those very experienced players, tenured, individually incredibly strong.
It's going to be Happy crawling across to open up an opportunity in mid. The bomb will move inside of A main, so there's commitment to this site. Dragonfly having just spotted Happy, but he knows it is the thing, so he's going to push while he sees that flash come over the top of White Box. Apex, in the meanwhile, makes similar progress on the A site. This is looking bad for Fragsters. All of a sudden, things have turned around the other direction. Happy will find yet another pickup from the inside of Z, and the bomb goes down too. So it's all down to HS now to try and close out. Has to keep his team in the fray, and they still need 4 rounds after that just to get this to OT. Otherwise, it's Vitality's map. It's Vitality's game, and they will eliminate Fragsters in the process. HS will make the Hail Mary play out onto the site, finds his first kill, knows he's got a second stuck behind the forklift, so a smoke will be used to get that player into safer positions. HS will continue to go on a wild goose chase for kills here as he tries to locate Happy, but can't get it done, and with Apex kill, that will do it. 16-10 is our final score, and it is Vitality 2-0 winning the matchup, pushing them forward into the end of this group bracket, and unfortunately for the Fragsters, knocking them out.
Very nicely done. Good game by Apex, specifically on the first map on the Frag scoreboard leader. And then also I have to say Happy, like a player that a lot of people on the forums will give a lot of negativity. He really fragged out on Cash as well. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Played a really, really good game. In general, all the Vitality did, they showed that they can actually step up to a level where all that potential that comes into play, and we can say, okay, they now realized some of it. We've seen, okay, Vitality, what they can be when they're on like a decent level.
Yeah, very much so the case, and we certainly saw the individualism shine through from that team, and Zaiwu really coming alive there. Finally got a really good 1vx clutch out of him, which I think was something we were missing from yesterday's matches, at least the ones that we saw. And And yeah, guys, overall, though, very good match played out there by Vitality, and unfortunately, the Fragsters is not bringing enough power of their own to close out the match. We're going to send it back over to the analysis desk to break down this game.
Appreciate it, fellas. Yes, they have given it their all, but the Fragsters are going to be going home, some just as quickly as they got here in terms of HS. My goodness. Kind of unfortunate, but also that's the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't, bub. What do you guys got?
What we got was a really dominant performance from Vitality there, Trace, especially on Dust 2. I don't think Fragsters were ever in that game. They just got, destroyed really all the way through. Apex had a huge game, great improvement from what he was at yesterday. Zywoo obviously performed really well. MBK was pretty huge on Dust 2 as well. Again, it just never even looked like Fragsters were in that game. Like, they got around here and there in the first half. They got nothing really rolling on the second half. Cash was a little bit different. They actually had an early lead. I think it was like 5-2, something like that. In the first half of Cash, seemed like they might have had something. But then from that point forward, just like closeout mode from Vitality. Very little that Fragsters could do about them going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of takes us back to what we were saying in the pregame. We were talking about why didn't they pick Nuke? Because we did feel like Dust 2 coming through was like, oh, it's maybe not the worst map they could have picked, but like they could have played Nuke, a map that they are statistically strong on. Yes, playing with a stand-in on Nuke is not always going to be perfect, but it kind of just felt like maybe they would have had a greater chance of taking this one to 3 maps. I think in the end, it still would have come down to Dust 2 as a 3rd map. I think that was a likely outcome, but they just got kind of dominated on an individual level on Dust 2. And to a certain extent on Cash as well. Like we saw that big play from Zywoo with the Deagle starting off on the boost, picking up 2 kills in mid off 2 1-deeks, gets himself an AK, finds a 3rd. Even though HS played it masterfully with Alert, like he was so incredibly patient. I think he was trailing that player for about 35 seconds, not shooting. In the end, he didn't win the round. There wasn't much he could do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, it's one of those things where we knew that Fragsters were coming in with the stand-in situation. I was always going to give them a difficult time. And then, like you noted, I feel like they kind of didn't put themselves in a good spot in the ban pick phase. I think they could have taken another advantage. I think he said, like, Nuke probably would have been the right target to go for. Really anything but feeding into Vitality's Dust 2. I feel like, that's a map they were totally fine playing with. I don't think you gained an edge in the pick, whereas I feel like Vitality playing Cash, I think they did have a little bit of an edge there. I think that is a map that Fragsters have struggled with. So I think that certainly played a key role.
I mean, just looking at the entry kills, like if you look at the entry kill numbers, I'd say a part of that is Dust 2. Like they can just kind of get away with the fact that these are world-class players. And they're jumping onto a map where you can really just open up a site.
You really seem to like holding cylindrical objects in your hand and shaking it around violently.
Dust, don't force it. You're forcing it right now, and you don't have to. But one thing I can tell you is this next man is a natural-born killer, and that is NBK. Let's go ahead and check in with him now. Congratulations, my friend, staying alive, are you?
Yeah, I mean, we are very happy coming into best of 3s now, and that's where we feel very comfortable.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to pick up on. Obviously, you guys have really struggled online so far, but it's all been best of 1s and all these open qualifiers, so that's kind of made it a little bit more difficult on you guys. Is there a real sense of worry, though? Because obviously, you guys haven't been able to qualify for that close qualifier for the minor yet. That's obviously a big tournament you want to be a part of, so how has that kind of affected the team?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one we're missing, obviously. That's the big one. And yeah, it's just a sort of psychological thing, I guess, in those best of 1s, because we play much more relaxed and much more free when we're playing those best of 3s, because if we lose one map, then we know we have more behind to come. And yeah, we just, we're always missing like one half, where we play an excellent half, and then the other one we just completely screw it up. So it just, we prepared for the long term in that sense, and we prepared very quickly on 6 maps so that we could play best of 3s as good as possible. And so that's where we can get a good edge, I think, especially in this tournament.
Do you feel like that maybe because of the fact that you guys haven't had as much playing experience, your runs online have been kind of stifled due to best of 1 disappointing losses, that you come into this one with a bit of an advantage because no one knows what to expect?
Yeah, pretty much, because I think in those best of 1s we've often been really pushed around by teams that are more loose and more aggressive, and that's what has been problematic for us, whether it is best of 1 or best of 3s. And so now we can play again much more calm and try to get the opponents into our game, and so that's what we couldn't do in best of 1s because people were very aggressive playing us. And so yeah, we want to, I mean, we have more depth than, for example, Fragsters that is here, or I guess most of the teams that are here at the tournament, because we play more maps and we prepared them from beginning to the end to all the 6 maps. So yeah, we're really looking forward to see what we can do with that preparation and not playing best of 1s that can go very fast either way.
So obviously yesterday you guys put up against Ghost on Cash and obviously didn't go your way, and that's why you're here today, or part of the reason why you're here today. What do you think kind of went wrong that kind of let that game get away from you against Ghost?
We actually had a very good talk after that game, and we were in the hotel in the evening because we identified that our communication was very poor in a sense that we didn't give communication to give confidence to each other. And so we had a good game plan, I think, coming into the game, except on the T side, and when in the beginning I made terrible calls and that really didn't help the team. But yeah, we were lacking that confidence that you can get through communication. Like, I have this angle, hold the other one, and so we were not, like, we're sort of frozen, and there is no excuse to that. Like, we cannot say that it's because it's our first LAN tournament or stuff like that. We're just frozen in game, and not free where we could be more aggressive individually or really trust 100% what we're doing as a team. And I think that's what really destroyed us in that sense, because I felt that the city side was in our control. I mean, we lose a terrible 5-on-2, and then a 4-on-5 where we have very good position and stuff like that. So with a bit more confidence in making the right plays individually, we felt that we could have taken the game against Ghost. But yeah, I mean, they developed their game plan. They got us into their game plan, and I think that's what really helped them. And so now coming into today and even in the future, we are trying to use communication more efficiently, and so for everybody in the team to be more proactive in communication, because we have a quite quiet roster, and so we want to develop that and push forward with that. And I think just with that simple change, it doesn't seem like a lot. I think we can really prove something different.
So Nathan, I've got one last question for you, man. We're going to let you go, and it's going to be to you personally. Rebuilding, how's that going? Like, I mean, is it tough? Is it a struggle? Talk to me a little bit about how that's going for you.
Yeah, I think it's sort of the idea of hope for the best and prepare for the worst. In a sense that we're preparing very hard, but we're expecting better things, especially qualifying to the minor, close qualifier for the minor, for example. We were expecting that maybe the first or second try, and we're here a bit later, not qualified yet. So we kind of expect it. So it's okay. The team atmosphere is very good. We're moving forward day after day, and we're trying to really lay good roots and a good basis for the team to develop on the long term. And so that's why we're not extremely worried. Me as a leader, I still know, like, I make mistakes like Ghost on the T side, for example. And so we're all improving together. And so that's a very good part. We're all pushing each other up. And so, yeah, I'm very confident that in the future we can keep on improving.
Well, Nathan, I do hope we get the chance to speak to you later on, and do know that you have a decider this afternoon. So we're going to let you get to that and get to your team. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, man. Guys, it's a pretty informative interview right there. I'd say he just about nailed that one in the head.
I think you could tell it kind of weighs on him. Like that, you know, he knows what this team's capable of. He knows what he needs to be doing better. He knows what he can get out of his teammates, and he knows the struggles that they're having. And I think that you can kind of see the passion in him whenever he speaks about these things.
Well, you won't have any struggles if you download the Strafe Esports app. And that's because you can follow the action of your favorite teams, players, in the biggest tournaments for the major esports games through the app. So head over to the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS store. I really still don't know how to do the Apple part. I mean, I literally have an iPhone, but I don't know what.
Just the App Store.
It's the App Store.
Whatever, dude. Anyway, yeah, head over there, grab the Strafe app, and well, follow along with us in case you've got to, actually get off the computer and go do something else. You can follow along here. That'll work out for you. And either way, we're going to be going to a break. When we come back, we've got a decider match for Group A. It's going to be E United and Luminosity squaring off on maybe 2, almost 3. We'll be back soon.